There is a quiet button that would set off the loudest chain reaction of your life. Press it. The internet vanishes for 24 hours. What actually breaks first? Is it your money, your flight, or just your memes? The answer is all of them, but not for the reasons you think. First, let's be clear. We're not killing the power grid. GPS satellites are still broadcasting their signals from orbit. That's just radio. We are severing the public connections between networks, the global agreement that lets your computer talk to a server on the other side of the planet. Your home has electricity. Your phone turns on. The apps just stare back, spinning into infinity. This works by silencing the Internet's address book, the Border Gateway Protocol, or BGP. It's how networks announce themselves to the world. When those announcements stop, entire companies and countries can effectively vanish, even if their internal systems are humming along perfectly. They become digital islands. This isn't science fiction. In 2011, Egypt's government ordered its internet providers to withdraw their routes, cutting the country off. And in 2021, a botched update made Facebook disappear from the internet for 6 hours. The company was still there, the world just couldn't find it. The first thing to freeze is money. Not your wallet, but the giant invisible rivers of it. In the U.S., the Fedwire system settles about $4.3 trillion every single day. That's the lifeblood of the economy. Huge payments between banks, massive securities transactions. Next to it, the CHIPS network moves another $1.8 trillion, handling giant corporate payments and foreign exchange. Today, those rivers don't flow. The transactions don't vanish, they just pile up, waiting for a green light that never comes. Then there's the money you actually see. The U.S. ACH network processes 86 million payments a day. That's your direct deposit from work, the automatic bill pay for your rent, the payment to your suppliers. It all runs in batches. Without the network to send the batch, your payday is officially postponed. The money is waiting, but the instructions are stuck. Now you feel it at the counter. Visa alone handles over 700 million transactions a day. Every time you tap your card, the terminal sends a tiny message asking for approval. Without the internet, that message goes nowhere. Some terminals have a backup plan, a tiny offline spending limit, just enough for a cup of coffee. But the gas pump, which needs to pre-authorize a big purchase, will just say no. Your plastic is just plastic again. Okay, so you'll just get cash. But ATMs are not just boxes of money. They're terminals that have to ask a central server for permission to dispense it. No connection to the host, no cash for you. Expect a wall of out-of-service screens. We saw a small preview of this in 2018 when a hardware failure at a Visa data center in Europe blocked millions of card payments for hours. People abandoned shopping carts and restaurants demanded cash. Now, imagine that everywhere. What about the stock market? This gets weird. The lights on the New York Stock Exchange floor can still glow. Huge investment banks and high-frequency traders often have their servers in the very same building as the exchange, connected by private fiber optic lines. They can, technically, keep trading with each other. But you, the retail investor at home, are completely locked out. Your brokerage app is a brick. You can't buy, you can't sell. You can only watch from the dark. Regulators hate an unfair market. A market where only insiders can trade while the public is blind is a recipe for panic and chaos. They would almost certainly step in and hit the big red button, market-wide trading halt. Not because the technology failed, but to protect the integrity of the system itself. The market stops not because it can't run, but because it would be irresponsible to let it. Now, let's go to the hospital. Here, the internet outage doesn't stop care. It slows it down to a crawl. Over 95% of U.S. hospitals run on electronic health records. When the network connection to that system is cut, doctors and nurses fall back to paper, pens, and whiteboards. Every order, every lab result, every medication update has to be written down and physically run from one department to another. The risk of error skyrockets. Your prescription is trapped too. In the U.S., about 6.4 million prescriptions are sent electronically every day. That system instantly checks for insurance coverage and drug interactions. Without it, your doctor is picking up the phone and calling the pharmacy. The pharmacy is calling the insurance company. Every step is manual, slow, and prone to mishearing. This happened for real during the 2017 WannaCry cyber attack, which forced the UK's National Health Service to cancel an estimated 19,000 appointments because their digital systems were unusable. Surprisingly, the planes in the sky are mostly fine. Air traffic control, radar, and navigation systems run on dedicated radio frequencies and private networks. They are designed to work without the public internet. The plane can fly and land safely. The problem is you, the passenger. The systems that check you in, assign your crew, calculate the plane's weight and balance, and create the flight plan are all tangled up in the airline's internet-dependent corporate network. Without that data, you can't board. Without a flight plan, you can't take off. The result is terminal gridlock. We saw exactly how fragile this information layer is on January 11, 2023. A single corrupted database file in the FAA's NOTAM system, which alerts pilots to hazards, triggered the first nationwide ground stop in the U.S. since 9/11. Thousands of flights were canceled, not because of a storm or a security threat, but because a single critical data feed went down. The world's physical supply chain seizes up next. Modern ports are giant computer-driven organisms. A terminal operating system, or TOS, is the brain. It tracks every container, schedules every crane, and tells every truck which gate to go to. When that system, which often relies on cloud connectivity, goes offline, the entire port freezes. The cranes stop, the gates close, the trucks line up for miles, their engines idling with nowhere to go. This isn't a guess. In 2017, the NotPetya malware tore through the systems of Maersk, the world's largest shipping company. For days, their operations were paralyzed. Gates at ports from Los Angeles to Rotterdam couldn't process trucks. They had to reinstall 45,000 PCs and 4,000 servers from scratch. The final bill was an estimated $300 million. It was a stark lesson. When the digital manifest vanishes, the physical container doesn't move. What about the basics? Power and water. For the most part, the lights stay on. The operational technology, the SCADA systems that control the grid and water pumps, typically run on isolated, private networks for security. They don't touch the public internet. The operators in the control room can still open breakers and manage flow. The core utility service remains stable. But you wouldn't know it, because the utility's business network is down. The outage map on their website is blank. The customer service call center is silent. The crews might not get digital work orders. And in some cases, this can have operational consequences. In 2021, the Colonial Pipeline, which supplies nearly half the fuel for the U.S. East Coast, was shut down not because the pipeline was hacked, but because their IT and billing systems were. They couldn't track or bill for the fuel, so they stopped the flow. Back at the office, you might not even get inside. Many modern buildings use keycard systems that are networked and managed by cloud services. During that 2021 Facebook outage, some employees were reportedly locked out of buildings and conference rooms because the systems that verified their badges were unreachable. A solid metal door doesn't care about your deadline when its digital brain is offline. Your memes, your chats, your endless scroll, they don't die. They just get stuck in time. WhatsApp alone normally handles 100 billion messages a day. For 24 hours, none of them send. The world's communication patterns are forced backward in time. People rediscover voice calls. SMS, the simple text message, sees a massive surge. Radio and broadcast TV ratings would spike. It's a forced digital detox for 7 billion people. Then, 24 hours later, the switch is flipped back on. The internet returns. This is not a gentle recovery. It is a tsunami. Every system tries to catch up at once. The 86 million ACH payments from yesterday all try to process in the first available window. The 50 million SWIFT messages bottleneck. The stock market gaps open violently, trying to price in a full day of news and trapped orders in the first second of trading. Many systems will choke. Your phone will detonate with a day's worth of notifications. Your group chat will deliver yesterday's jokes in a chaotic, jumbled flood. Payment networks will see a storm of retries and declines as they struggle to resync. It's the digital equivalent of every car in the country trying to get on the highway at the exact same moment. For a few hours, the internet's return might feel almost as broken as its absence. So, looking back at the wreckage, what really broke? Not the power plants, not the planes in the sky, not the water pumps. What broke was agreement. The internet isn't just a network of machines, it's a network of consensus. It's the layer we use to agree on who has been paid, which cargo is cleared for pickup, who is allowed in the building, and what a stock is worth right now. You don't lose the physical world. You lose the ability to coordinate it at scale and at speed. That's the ultimate kicker. The internet isn't one thing you can turn off like a light. It's the invisible layer of trust and coordination that makes everything else run fast. Taking it away for a day doesn't send us back to the Stone Age. It sends us back to the speed of paper, of phone calls, of waiting. And it reveals that the modern world is built not on concrete or steel, but on a silent, constant agreement that the message will get through.